Greetings and salutations, everybody. We're actually all back for D&D Abeyance. I know
Wow.
I'm as confused and frightened as you all are, but
Yes.
Nick is running this, so I'm going to hand it over to him now, so I can let him handle the confusing weird shit.
Yes, it's if you are watching this in the future via a playlist, for you it may have just been mere minutes as the last episode ended. For us, it has been a full month. So to give a bit of a recap of recent events within the game, you guys were doing a lot of poking around, investigating stuff, trying to get the bottom of this conspiracy that seems to be responsible for a lot of the stuff that you guys have been checking into for the entirety of the campaign, involving souls not reaped, people disappearing or showing up within Limbo and then disappearing again. Uh, and through tracking some of your leads involving Cecilia Teague, where you would, of course, back when you first went to investigate stuff in the United Kingdom, you had heard business involving this gang within the physical world, a criminal organization called the Scuttlers, who were involved in a smuggling operation that apparently had to do with drugs. When checking into that, you found some evidence that linked them to some sort of supplier of medical products. And on a very direct but veiled and coded tip from Death, just straight up the Grim Reaper, uh, that was given to Reaper Gideon, you guys investigated a figure that had previously been listed as someone who had purchased some of Cecilia Teague's artwork, a person only known as Stanford. So, working on a inn that you had already had at an art gallery, you guys put a painting that you had that Jerome had claimed. I'm not going to say anything that it sounds like he stole it, but he claimed it because
Mhm.
it is a portrait of himself. And you guys said that you were the owners of the paintings and that you were going to auction it up. A whole bunch of people that had done dealings with Cecilia Teague before, including Stanford, as well as her classmate and seeming rival in the artistic world, Marshall Bailey, all showed up. You guys stepped on a few toes while you were there in disguise. You poked around into trying to find some more records while you were there. And then to get a chance to confront Stanford, you unleashed a little bit of controlled chaos and primarily uh, Dant- Dantalion was able to have a private word with Stanford, confront him with slightly veiled information about what you guys had previously discovered to see how he would react, and then when he went on his off on his own, Gideon invisibly snooped on the conversation that he had with someone on the phone who did not speak, but instead seemingly used perhaps a form of Morse code or something like that through a series of taps on the microphone to communicate something to Stanford.
Spooky.
I think that is everything that
That's basically where we
important
left
about the
off,
last two
if I recall
sessions.
correctly. Yes.
That
Yep.
yes, with
There was
that situation.
there was some accusing of Dantalion being internally referred to as all kinds of unkind things, but that was all just part of the ruse. It was very funny in the moment, though.
Right.
Yeah.
There might be some consequences for the guise that Dentalion was operating under, but that's only if he ever actually has to use it again. So
Indeed.
Yeah, that identity it is burned, at least in England.
Well, at least
Yeah,
as an even remotely reputable businessman.
Right.
because even you guys were saying that he had ripped you off.
Yes.
So.
I can
Right.
always make new identities. It's not that we're tough.
Oh no.
Yeah, and there's nothing illegal about doing that either.
Not
Nope,
well.
not when you're dead. What are they going to do? Execute me?
All right.
That's the thing. Prison sentences end when you die. If you're already dead, they can't put you in jail.
Right. So, for the most part, at this point, I am going to essentially place the ball in your guys' court,
Dun, dun,
and
dun.
and establish that you guys are essentially abandoning your presence within the physical world, interacting with people who are amongst the living, or though at least those that you were interacting with previously. You had been interacting with Marshall Bailey, with some of the other patrons, along with Mr. Yates, who was the director of everything. And you guys were just kind of like, get out of there because you had done what you would come to the auction in order to accomplish.
That seems reasonable.
Stanford is as we are in this moment leaving, and had been leaving actually when Italian intercepted him. What do you guys want to do literally right now?
I know what I know what I'm a little tempted to do,
I think regrouping would probably be a
but
good
that's
first step.
I know what I, Mecha GM, want to do, but it is not in character for Gideon.
Right.
Yeah, this is the I mean, I'll lay it out very, very simply, which is that you guys know that Stanford is your best lead.
Yes.
Yeah.
He is leaving.
Yes.
And however, on the other hand, you have certain restrictions that are kind of been placed on you. You guys don't have, as far as I know, have an incredibly solid plan of what to do next. And also there are supervisory aspects that are kind of leaning over you at this point.
Yes. All right.
Yeah,
So my one
so
thing
my-
that I don't remember that I want to ask: did Dentalian actually set up a time and place to meet Sanford again in future? I don't remember.
I did not. He's supposed to.
He's supposed to
The
contact
idea
you.
was to scare him to calling me.
Okay, that's what I wanted to check. Okay.
Okay, so your idea was to, so you get, I forget exactly how this went down. Did you give him some sort of like a phone number or anything?
Yeah,
like
I
that?
gave him a phone number.
All right,
Okay.
Nick.
Hmm.
I am going to follow. I'm going to follow him. You know, incorporeally.
Okay.
I'm going to follow him out to his whatever vehicle he is using.
All right.
Reiko's going to do that because Reiko was kind of sticking near Gideon, and hailing the suspect is probably the best course of action right now, and she doesn't know where everyone else is. So
Fair.
Gideon is remembering something someone made as an offhand comment at some point, and is going to take advantage of that. So I'm going to follow him out to the car.
Right.
Once he gets to his vehicle, let me know.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm invisible and incorporeal at the moment, as usual.
Right,
I am
so-
bodiless right now, so
I'm not manifesting, basically.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I have an idea that I'm not positive is going to work, but I think yeah, you'll see.
Okay. If you
I
guys
know what I
wanna
want to do, but I'm out of resources.
Yeah,
I
as
did
as
up a few
yeah,
different
go ahead.
things. Yeah. No, go ahead. Sorry.
as I said, yeah, as for like Jerome and like we just like admitted to being involved in a painting theft and selling it, and like Jerome can't just like ditch his body somewhere and have it show up, where the cops find it. He has to. There's probably a location they have to go to get the bodies back to.
Getting
I'm not actually sure how that
getting our
works.
physical
You-
getting your physical form back won't be a problem once we all regroup up. That's
I was gonna say you're switching. It's like you're switching vehicles to get the heat off of you from the police. There, that's
you just
we're only at
drop a
2
bucket of paint
stars. You
over
can just
yourself.
change your clothes. It's fine.
Dice Theft Auto. Got it.
Yeah.
I still thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, you drop a bucket of paint over yourself and then hold up a different license plate in front of your body. It's like, oh, a
Mhm.
different car. Yeah.
Yeah.
Contact paper.
Okay. Right. So this is basically going to be a formality since you guys are literal ghosts in this situation. But while you are tailing Stanford,
You want me to make a stealth roll?
Please give me some stealth checks.
Oh boy.
I know.
You should straight or with advantage.
I believe that we have established that Reiko makes these with disadvantage, so hers is going to cancel out and be flat. You're going to have advantage.
All right.
Oh hallelujah.
10.
Okay.
You know what? Hang on. I'm going to load the dice over here.
Mhm.
Where is it? Here we
Curious
are.
about this now.
Borrowed knowledge. I'm going to throw this to give myself quote unquote training in stealth, just to
Oh,
hedge the bet a little bit.
Yeah, fair,
All right.
fair.
Second level. Actually, it's a second level spell, and I've only got one more of those. Do I
Yep.
actually want to throw that?
it's up to you.
There's not really a whole lot else I use in this category, actually, so whatever.
You're trained for the next hour when you use it there.
Might come in handy then.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I will cast that. Normal roll. There we go.
Nice.
Oh, hey.
17.
All right.
All right, and then with the other thing that makes it 19.
Okay then. Okay. You trail after Stanford, who while you're on his tail, he doesn't at least make any indication that he seems to know that he's being followed.
Mm-hmm.
Reiko is very excited to be tailing a suspect. This is cool.
You've got like spy music going on.
Dun, 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 dun,
Oh yeah, if there's
dun,
anything
dun,
Mission
dun.
Impossible movies are known for, it was for how subtly they act.
I was thinking of the TV series where they were subtle occasionally.
See,
Well,
I'm thinking that Cusco is bemoaning that I'm doing my own theme music over here.
all right. For the other three of you, so Tan, Dan, Jerome, I know, Ash, you were considering the fact that you are probably going to need to get out of your physical body so that the heat's off you, but I am going to leave it up to you what you want to do, basically.
I'll probably dump the body since it's of no use to me anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Just as a point of note, in the process of like all of this tailing business, Reiko will take a moment to just like tap out a quick message to like, our communication network and just say, tailing S
Okay.
with G.
Right.
And we'll just kind of leave it at that. So at least everyone else knows what we're freaking doing.
Like, are there like these bodies? Like, are there any like practical like responsibilities we have to like deal with these? Like, if we just ditch these, is this going to be a problem for us?
We're gonna. So I don't know, but
You use the mass make models; they can crack those out like it's nothing. Just don't.
but yeah, leaving the body behind might leave some issues. Yes, but it is possible that we'll be able to just go back easily to Limbo in just a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Is my point.
Also, what are you concerned about, really?
I'm actually concerned that Mr. Was it Tate's the person running the auction?
Mr. Yates. Yeah.
Mr. Yates is going to call the cops and have them come to try to arrest us.
Like just leave.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
we are leaving, but that's the thing.
Yeah, just
I
walk
think
out.
you're overthinking this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Also, my general rule of thumb is this: play quick and let complications happen rather than worrying too much about safeguarding against complications, because complications mean interesting things happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might give me an
Embrace
idea.
Dwarf Fortress capital F fun.
Well, it's.
Listen, I'm going to make intentionally poor decisions as many times as I can.
Eric gets it.
I will say that, Ash, if you're worried about me like being really mean about it, I'm not going to be really mean about it. So
Oh no, like I was just sure, like if we literally had any responsibilities with these bodies or anything like that, or we would just really dump them.
they are for your benefit. They are not meant to be a burden for you.
Okay. Well then, yeah, then like we can just.
If you want to dump it somewhere, go for it. I'm not saying you can't. I'm just letting you know.
It's probably not necessary for you to dump it in the first place. I mean,
But
what
if
are
you want
gonna
to, go ahead. Like, I'm just saying we're probably going to head back to Limbo
Oh no,
fairly
you
shortly.
get arrested. Then you can just like fake a heart attack, then leave it. And it's just like, oh, well, here.
Another way of putting it is that these things probably see enough use that it would be impractical to have them be permanent things that will occupy space in the real world if they are discarded instead of being brought back, because of the exact thing that you're worrying about, of what if someone comes across this lifeless body. That's not how they're made to work for you.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure if there was any like weird implications about this, but like obviously it just doesn't matter. So if we need to dump them, we'll just dump them. Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I mean, look, I'll be very straightforward. It was something that I only thought forward as far as like giving people a means to occupy physical space in the physical world, or not, based on
right,
is situationally appropriate. Okay. So what we'll call it as then is that for you guys who were in physical forms for the mission, you at least have to spend a little bit of time shrugging those off, and that may leave you a bit behind where Reiko and Gideon are, should you choose to go after them or not. So from there, if you guys decide you need to get back to Limbo and regroup, or you want to go with them, we'll figure that out. In the meantime, actually, I'm going to do a thing over with that. I'm going to let the dice decide something here. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just going to go to a nightclub and drop the body in the middle of the dance floor.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Like, and over here, Tan is just like, well, this is just my body anyway, so I'm just gonna just peace out and get some, I don't know, some Irish spice bag and then go home, you know.
I'm thinking of that gif of the kid who does the peace sign, it just disappears. Just bye.
Oh geez, I just had a horrible thought.
Didn't do it.
No, not for me. Like a thing I imagine Dantalion doing.
Tell me so I can do it.
I need to get rid of this body. How far is the London Bridge?
Okay. So as the three of you are departing from where you are, we didn't really establish this for this part of what you guys were doing, but you were still under some form of supervision while this was happening. Depending on how you look at it, fortunately or unfortunately, there was only one Reaper accompanying you guys on this, and it's a detail I kind of just neglected to go over in the last session. Because your party was split in the session before that, so you each had one person following after you to keep an eye on you. In this case, it was just Giorgio who was kind of keeping an eye on all of you, and he, as you guys are just kind of abandoning like being physically present for the auction and everything, comes over to you. And is looking like he's definitely worried about stuff that has just happened. And he goes up to you in particular, Dantalion, and says, What? I don't think you should. I don't know if you should have done that. Just you. I don't think you're supposed to try and haunt someone when we're doing this.
Well, Rome was busy at the time. He's supposed to haunt people. Just helping a bro out. Besides, this is a way of flushing him out and getting some movement, so we can see exactly what kind of this, exactly what this drug is and how it affects the afterlife.
Jerome's just
I
pipes
mean,
in.
I'm sorry if I overstepped my bounds, but it seemed like the right thing to do at the time.
I understand that you're trying to do this for the right reasons, but there's more to doing what we do than just doing things for the right reasons. They have to be done in a way that does not have unintended side effects. That is the entire reason that I was supposed to come with you, you know.
Right, and I didn't haunt him. I spooked him as a regular human being would.
I don't know if I agree with you.
The semantics, they're like not a full on, it's just a little spook.
I didn't even touch him.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
Okay, I did touch him, but I didn't use
it's-
like super secret dead guy powers on him.
This is like arguing the distinction between assault and battery.
Yeah.
It's like, listen, I didn't assault him. I was like, I didn't assault him. It's like, I didn't touch him. Actually, assault does not require touching. It just requires a threat. What?
Okay, fine. It wasn't battery. Fine.
Listen, I didn't commit battery.
So like Jerome kind of pipes in, and it's like, and as the expert on doing this, the weird poltergeist stuff, it just kind of pipes in. It's like, look, everything that happened can be easily explained away. No lasting harm was done to anyone, and we didn't leave any evidence behind of supernatural activity. So, as from my viewpoint, everything should be in the up and up.
I'm just a bit worried about what's going on. I think that you're right in the end, that it's going to be okay. That it is amazing the way that living people will justify to themselves that nothing is out of the ordinary, even when very strange things happen around them. It's one of the reasons why
Very exploitable.
things
Especially rich people.
I was going to say that it's the reason why things haven't been revealed to them in the course of millennia on a wide scale. There's only a few people who really grasp what's going on. But I just want to remind you, at least, that I'm, standing here while you are out doing this, and that what you are doing does not just affect you, it does reflect on me. Because if you guys do something that you are not supposed to, and I do not stop you, then that will bear consequences for me. So please...
You know what? That's a good point. I don't think there'll be any blowback on you, but I'll keep that in mind.
I don't want you... I understand the importance of what you are working on. It's one of the reasons why I agreed to come with you, because I know that what you and Gideon are trying to accomplish can potentially be very, very, very important to what is going on in our lives and our business. But you have to keep in mind that you have to play within the rules. And I will do what I can to make sure that you are not misjudged for what you are doing. But you also have... there is only so much I can do to make people that are... have authority over you, so to speak. Make them see you in that positive light. The rest of it is up to the actual actions that you commit.
I hear you, and I'll keep any consequences more in mind. I saw an opportunity and I jumped on it. It seemed like the right thing to do.
All right. So then, what do you want to do next? Should we head back? I see that Gideon and Rico are not here.
Yeah, I'm guessing they're keeping an eye on our mark, so to speak. Subtly. This is Gideon we're talking about. Dude's more by the book than anyone else in the afterlife.
This is close to true, but I see what you're.
There is Jay.
Yeah. All right. Well, I cannot split my attention between the both of you, so I am here. I am here with you right now. What do you want to do?
Yeah, please stay with us. We're more likely to cause trouble than Gideon.
I wasn't going to say that, but I agree with it.
Jerome just kind of shrugs. He's like, yeah. Like, it's like I did just commit a major crime a while back, so.
No, the committing of crimes is not a problem. Don't worry about that. I am talking about violations that are important. Okay.
Right.
In that case, let's go to conduct some theft.
I mean, when you think about it, and when you think about it, literally all of our work requires us to trespass, so it's not a big deal.
I mean, yeah, fair.
This is true. All right, so it seems that the plan here is to find a place to incorporate, and then I don't know if we're going to be able to get back to them in time, but we can try. Do we want to try that, or we want to head back?
Well, I know what I'd want to do, but I'm out of resources. I need a nap before I can do anything like that.
Like, there are things that like Jerome can do magically, but I don't necessarily know if they would be helpful. They're more overt, and that might not be a good thing to do right now.
Yeah, if you want subtlety, I mean, Tanton has subtle tools on their arsenal, but like, it kind of depends on what we're trying to what. It kind of depends on what Dan wants to do.
So
Right.
what I would have loved to have done was just be in his car when he gets in. Ask him who he was talking to. But that I don't have the resources to do that. I kind of burned them all with the spooking. Not haunting, spooking. There's a difference. Haunting implies a extended and concerted effort over a period of long period of time.
This is not transition to try to distinguish between manslaughter and murder at this rate here. Like,
yeah, that's
like they're like I I mean, one option is just to I mean, I guess I'm trying to think of other options in that same domain, but you know,
well, it is possible that if we do go back to the home base right now, that if Reiko and Gideon know where your target, your suspect, is going, that we would then simply be able to come back and rejoin them.
That is true.
That is the thing, is that if you know where someone is, it does not matter that you do not chase them down. You can simply go to where they are going.
That may be sort of where Gideon's currently going mentally. Just saying.
All right, let's head back. Let's head back home.
Just not exactly the way that.
Reiko and
Just
Gideon.
not exactly in the way that you might be thinking.
Right. That sounds like the plan. Then we should head back.
All right. So you guys get set to make your way back home for the time being. We're going to go back to Reiko and Gideon.
Okay.
You guys follow Stanford on foot for a little bit. His security rejoins him very shortly after you guys begin following him. There's a lot of stuttered explanations. We're talking about how they very clearly saw him head through a door on the opposite end of the hallway and stuff. And he says nothing in response. very clearly like that he is preoccupied by a bunch of different things beyond the fact that this security detail in particular was not keeping up. And he heads outside to where there is a car waiting with a driver, who looks very much like the rest of his security detail, standing at attention outside of it. He, very, very, very dutifully and silently and stoically does the professional driver thing,
Right.
opens the door for Stanford to get inside.
Okay, before he's getting in, I've got a couple of questions. Where are people roughly standing, and how far away am I from the car at the moment?
So if we indicate, well, I guess that's going to depend on how closely you want to have been following him.
I mean, relatively close, but not like right on top of him.
If we can say like maybe about 20, 15 feet.
10 to 15 would be my gut feeling.
Okay. Security detail following him much more closely.
Yep.
They're like just a comfortable pace behind.
Yeah.
him.
I want to be a little bit behind the security detail.
Okay.
I mean, not that I can bump into them, but All right. The reason I'm asking is, sorry, the reason I'm asking is I'm just sort of looking for an easy opportunity to slip up to the car and access the interior in some way.
Okay.
Do I think I can do that before he gets in and drives off?
Oh yes.
Okay. Here's what I'm thinking of doing.
But here's the thing: is that the driver is the person who is opening the back door for him to get.
I don't really need them to. I don't really need to have an open door per se. Remember,
right? But I'm just telling you that that's kind of your opening. It's not going to drive off before you also.
Okay, great. So here's what I'm going to want to do. I'm taking my phone out of my pocket.
Ooh.
I'm turning it on. Before I walk up, I'm gonna ask Reiko a question. Reiko, do these phone devices have an ability to record conversations?
Some do. Let me see.
Do ours? Yes. Here, take a look quickly. If not, that's fine. But it's a quick thing.
I'm inclined to say yes, since my new phone has that ability. But I don't know what Gideon's rolling with.
Yeah, that's the question. So Nick, the question is, does my phone have like the ability to just have a recorder? If not, that's fine. It doesn't matter.
Give me a luck check. Just roll a
roll a d20. Sure, no problem.
Yeah. Roll high.
If it's supposed to be like an old, there we go.
Yes, it does.
Okay, great. All right, so Nick,
demos is a thing.
So I'll take the thing back. So I'll ask Reiko to point out how I turn it on. I turn it on. I walk up to the car, and I place it. I try to place it underneath the driver's seat and leave it there.
Okay. Yeah. All right. This will be a bit odd.
Yes, I know.
Yeah. Give me another stealth.
Absolutely. And I may burn my reroll on this afterwards.
Actually, I mean, I guess technically speaking, it's a sleight of hand, maybe, but it's the same bonus for you as it is for stealth.
Yes, I'll roll sleight of hand.
I will aid if that's necessary.
Yeah, throw the aid, please.
Or if do you naturally get it just by virtue of being invisible and shit?
Fair enough. Do I get advantage on this, Nick?
I'll just say that if Reiko's helping you, then yes.
Okay, great. 12.
12. Okay. Very, very average roll. Okay.
Yes. I'm debating whether I want to re-roll that or not. No, I'm going to take it. I'm not the odds are not that I'm going to roll significantly better. That's dead average.
All right.
I wish I could realistically consider myself likely to roll higher, but I can't. I really would like that, but I'll have to do.
Okay. All right. You have stowed the phone with the record option functioning underneath the seat.
All right.
And there is some very brief conversation between the four people here, the driver, the security, and Stanford. The two security guys leave and go to another vehicle parked very nearby, and they get inside of it while the driver gets in, closes the door, peels out of the parking lot.
Yep.
The other car shortly follows them.
Well, at a minimum, hopefully we'll be able to track the location of that vehicle via the location of my phone. And maybe we can record something extra on the recording, if we get lucky. Shall we rejoin the group?
Sounds good.
All right.
By the way, that was good thinking on your feet there.
Thank you. I remember you mentioning something about I remember someone mentioning, I think it was you, about the fact that phones can be tracked or something like that. And I was like, huh. Especially our phones. We should be able to track our own phones, so...
Ah.
And they're not
I won't
likely to
get
be
into
easily
it. That'll
spotted.
probably be confusing, but yes.
Possibly. We'll see.
How
I may be-
familiar are you with satellites?
Hopefully, I mean... I'm more leaning towards being able to track our own stuff, due to not actually technically being, actually a part of this world. I don't know how long it'll last in this world without us here, but we'll see. It's at least a chance at trying to figure out where they are. At least, let's rejoin the group.
Sounds good.
Okay.
You should probably
Out of
you should probably send a message to them to let them know ask them where they are.
You got it.
I can't anymore because I don't have my phone anymore.
Boop, 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 send. Out of character, as soon as you said that you pulled out your phone, I knew exactly where you were going with this. It's like, I know this trick.
Uh-huh. It's not a thing I've done before in other games.
No, never.
Right, Eric?
What?
What I just did is not a thing I've ever done in other games. Right, Eric?
No, not at all. No. That's entirely unique. It never happened to Star Wars game.
Nope, did not. Yeah, there's a Star Wars D20 or Star Wars game that Eric and I played in where I did almost exactly this to bug in the office of a Imperial officer. Just drop an open comm link into a potted plant.
I get the impression that your fondness for that maneuver is roughly, your equivalent of my. I piss off every dragon in the area to get us away from this pirate.
All right. So, you guys have basically planted a bug then. I understand. And you guys go back to regroup. All right. So
I was literally what happened is as we were saying, damn, I really what Gideon would want to do is what I would want to do is get in the car and follow, but that's really just not get in, hide there invisibly and follow. But Gideon wouldn't do that. Sadly, we don't have any bugs. Wait a minute, I have a cell phone.
you would get in the car, whatever. So, I kind of thought one of you would get in the car, but I mean, this.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
That's entirely a Dentalian move.
Yeah. Well, and Dentalian would also be like, leaning over the driver's shoulder, be like, crash or something.
Reiko is committed to being a good assistant, so she's going to be a good assistant. Also, she has not entirely shaken off the notion of don't get into cars with strange men.
Fair enough. All right. We'll cut ahead then to you guys are able to regroup in Limbo. So there is definitely some stuff that you guys found out about while you have been doing your various pokings aroundings. And also you have this this bug planted that that you can follow up on in the future if you want to.
Here, picking something in someone's audio.
Someone's listening to the Ron Perlman video.
Okay.
Anywho,
Sorry. I opened a thing and it started playing, and I was like, "Where is that noise coming from?"
why is Ron Perlman talking at me at the moment?
I mean, generally, it's a good thing when Ron Perlman is talking, but
Yeah, so I take it we group then.
Yes. I was assuming that.
Yes.
Yes.
I see everyone has managed to make it out. Good.
And no
Giorno?
major incidents.
Giorgio? Well, we have an opportunity, I think, to possibly remotely follow Stanford's vehicle, and maybe if we're lucky, catch some information on in addition while he's traveling. I turned on the recording function on my phone thing and left it hidden underneath the driver's seat in his vehicle.
Wait, you can do that?
What certain models?
I'm going through all those troubles trying to spook people. We could have just done that from the beginning.
It didn't occur to me until just now.
This is why keeping up with the technology is important.
Well, I was, but it just keeps on going faster.
Yes.
Then you're gonna have like friggin', I don't know, computers in your pocket or something.
I mean, from what Reiko has been saying, that's basically what these phone things are.
Yep. What? No, a computer's supposed. You can only fit a computer inside a moderate-sized room. It takes up the
Don't
whole
worry.
thing.
Don't worry, the computers aren't very good. I had a BlackBerry once, and it couldn't do anything.
No, this one apparently has a recording function. I don't know how long it can record for, but we'll see. Anywho,
Well, how much tape it has?
I mean, yes, from the recording devices I've seen, they do involve tape and such, but I keep being surprised by technology at this point. I've decided to not assume that I know everything anymore. Anywho,
I'm surprised the two of you weren't referring to the phones as being reliant on cylinders to record and play back.
well, I did see one of those reel-to-reel thingies. From what I've been told, I think that's the terminology.
Hey, I've seen 8-tracks. I'm hip.
Reiko is just kind of grinning, like I could program the VCR.
At any rate, so
Even though she's too young for that.
my assumption is that we'll be able to track the phone in some way, shape, or form. At least due to the fact that it is ours, and we usually are able to find our own stuff in the world through various mystical means. Am I correct on that one, Giorgio? Or maybe we should go talk to someone back at HQ. They might know better. I'm guessing we can do that though.
So the phone is wait. How does it work again?
I'm not entirely certain, especially our
boy.
phones.
Why do I even have that phone? Why don't I just walk up to someone if I want to speak to them?
Well, I mean, if you're very, very far away, or if you want to be very quiet,
Reiko is
there's a
looking
text
up
function on it.
Is looking up to see if she can find like the GPS signature of Gideon's phone.
But at any rate, these phones apparently have some sort of text function, which seems to be actually more useful than actually talking directly.
Excuse me.
At least this way it is very quiet.
Text, so like you can like send them letters.
Effectively, short messages.
so-
More like that Telegram thing that someone told me about.
Oh yeah, telegrams.
Yes, but
But didn't we already have telegrams? We progressed to telephones because it was more convenient and easier.
yes, but if you can send a telegram to someone else's phone from your phone without having to go to an office,
I guess.
think about it as a portable telegram device that is also a phone. Multiple functions in the same thing. That seems actually a little bit convenient, at least.
Next thing you'll know, they'll add a stock ticker to one of these things too.
Why would that be useful?
Yeah, who's watching their stocks all the time? None of us were stockbrokers that I know of. If we were, we'd already be in hell.
Drome's just like, what I want to know is how they got rid of that horrible screeching sound that it makes when they connected with each other.
Fun fact, they still do that effectively, but they just don't do it in a frequency you can hear.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Wait, Jerome's owl ears are very good. He can probably still hear that.
I don't know. Can owls hear in the megahertz?
That's a good question. I will look that up later.
I'm just over here debating with myself. Okay, do I want it to be a thing where Reiko struggles to teach the grandparents' how-to technology here, or do I just let them commiserate amongst themselves in their obsolescence? I don't know which is funnier.
No, I'm just thinking of that thing that was like marketed to block the quote unquote harmful radiation of Wi-Fi hubs.
Oh boy.
Oh, right.
Which was just a cage that blocked.
It was a Faraday
Wi-Fi
cage.
signal.
It was a Faraday cage, literally.
Like, well, it works.
It does a brilliant job blocking all the 5G signals getting out, which means it doesn't work. But I mean,
just
the
saying,
device doesn't work. The Faraday cage is working exactly the way it's supposed to.
Yeah. Yeah. So. All right.
But at any rate, I've had my clever idea for this, likely for the session. So,
All right, so I'm going to say that you guys are at the very least going to need to, because you have never used this function before, we need to take a little bit of time to make sure that you can geo-track the phone. But you will know where Stanford is headed, provided he is in the same location as said phone.
right.
From there, what do you guys want to do?
Well, I was thinking we probably do want to head back to Limbo and check in, and maybe
It would probably be wise to go back to Limbo and recharge, because Reiko has been out here without a skin suit for a while.
yeah. That's sort of what I was thinking. It's probably a good idea for
Like,
most people's
pressing the
health to
advantage
head
is
back.
one thing, but
Yeah.
overextending is another.
Yeah. So if that's the case, Gideon will produce his scythe and open a portal.
Doot, 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 doot.
Okay.
All right, let's head back. Oh, Reiko, did that tracking thing work or not? Out of curiosity, you said you were trying to see if you could do it.
I did not get a result from the DM, so I'm still that answer is in limbo.
So give me a survivor roll.
Survival. Okay.
That's how you track.
I mean, yeah, fair.
Rerolling.
Oh
For the
dear.
sake of-
Huh.
It's gonna take you a while to download the right app. So
we gotta get the password for the phone.
you've got to watch all the ads before you can download it. So.
Oh my god.
First Latin OS.
To be fair, yeah, our OS is probably a little bit out of date.
Give me a moment here. I gotta grab some water.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
I was gonna say, like, I'm debating, like, I mentioned this earlier, but the red food item of the day for Tanninars is indeed the Irish spice bag, is what
Nice.
it's known as.
Ooh.
Which, to explain what it is a bag that contains chips, fried chicken, and other sort of stir-fried things, and then you top it with like a curry sauce.
Ah.
So it's similar to saltado, which is the Peruvian variant of like stir fry with rice and chips and fries, you know. But like this is just the Irish variant, which doesn't have any rice, has the fries, and has a curry sauce because of course it does.
Fair.
Look at that.
I don't know, it
Like,
reminds me of like a walking taco, but like with potato chips. I mean, not potato chips, French fries. Or just potato, I guess, whatever.
yeah, it's not really eaten like a walking taco necessarily, but yeah. Yeah, it's just sort of like, okay, well that's the new regional food item of the day for Tan here.
Mm.
One of the reasons why Tan does all their stuff, you know, it gives them food tourism excuses there.
Yeah,
you know?
fair. That's reasonable.
Now you have me looking this thing up. Fries, spicy chicken bites, and vegetables. And the spicy salt and served up in a paper bag.
Yes. That's why it's a spice bag.
This doesn't in fact sound like an Irish meal.
Well,
And
it's
that is-
weird.
Not that Irish. Not enough of it has been boiled.
You boil the chicken.
Well, I mean, it's a takeaway. It's takeaway food in
Yeah.
the UK. So like,
Yeah.
it's fried.
Yeah. I mean, like fish and chips. That neither the fish nor the chips are boiled.
Mhm.
Well, no,
Well,
actually,
you
no,
haven't.
they
You weren't
are.
getting it from a proper British vendor then.
No,
Gav's
no,
going to
no. Technically,
the internet and stab me.
no. Technically, they are boiled though. They are boiled in oil.
Ah.
There you go.
But like basically, what's interesting is that the spice bag is literally the Irish equivalent of saltado because they're both Chinese fusion dishes. It's Chinese plus regional fusion, effectively.
Oh, I'm back.
Welcome back.
All right. So you guys are headed back to Limbo. Reiko, I think that in the background for a little bit, you're going to be grumbling over the outdated phone, trying to get the thing you guys need in order to follow up on this. What? Because I mean, look, it's not like you're like tracking someone's footprints. This is just a matter of like how much time it's going to take you to actually do the thing.
Right.
So you guys are headed back as part of the fact that you are kind of like being monitored during this part of it. I think that it is fair to say that you'll want to report what you guys have been doing and what you have been able to find out.
That was my plan.
Okay.
So the question is whom we report into at this point. I guess is it Michael again?
Well, Michael was the guy that kind of said that you guys needed to.
Yes, that is why I was thinking maybe Michael because.
So I think that that's probably your best bet at this point. All right, so you guys head into headquarters. And you go in and let's see. I've forgotten her name. Hang on a second. What is her demon name's name? Oh no, wait, she's at a different place. Never mind. Okay. You guys head in. You head around to find Michael, and let me just do. Oh yeah, actually, he is like out and about at the time that you guys head in, so you spot him right away.
Ah, Michael.
Ah, Gideon.
We are back, and I would like to inform you of what's been going on. If you've got a moment.
Oh, right. Okay. Not here.
No, I was thinking somewhere a bit more secluded.
Right. Okay, come on.
Some were
man.
more bearing an office disposition.
Well, fortunately, we've got plenty of those.
I'm aware.
So,
Excellent. Whenever you got the moment.
most of these are just kind of for show. I mean, like, we don't have people that need to work in private out here very much, so you can just... And so he literally just walks to the first door that he sees and opens it up. It's like, coming in.
Yep. I'll find a chair and sit down.
The liminal office space.
Basically.
All right. What all do you want to share with him?
All right. Well, I'm going to. So, I forget what. I guess we'll just fill him in what we've been up to. I guess basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you go over, sitting in on that cancel meeting, going to the Scuttler's base, following up by going to the art auction.
Yep.
Thing.
Yep. I will. Honestly, at this point, I will let him know. Actually, I will let him know about my little conversation with the big D, as it were.
He told you through a chessboard?
Yes. This is
Huh.
honestly not entirely outside of the usual way that he and I communicate.
I suppose you know that better than I would.
Well, we both have a fondness for the game, so although I think I have more of a fondness for the game as the game as a game than he does, they do. Whichever. I forget how they prefer to have. Anyways. But yes, I wouldn't say necessarily a fondness they have. They understand it. And they know of my fondness for the game.
All right.
But at any rate,
So-
yes, it sort of definitely put us on the trail of this Stanford individual.
I see.
Yes, and
So you think that he's responsible for what's been going on?
I think he might. I think Mr. Stanford maybe is at least the human contact for. If there is someone on our side who's behind it, then Stanford is the human contact for them.
Yeah, he stinks of being neck deep in this.
Definitely had
I don't think he's the primary. I don't think he's the primary guy. I think he's just the
He's
I don't think
definitely.
he's the mastermind. Rather, I think he's their most highly placed pawn.
It did seem to me that that's the Stanford individual is taking orders from someone. I do not know whom they are, or where they are, but the phone conversation he had, as near as I could tell, there was no voice. They were communicating more through what seemed to be sort of clicks and such, sort of like as if they were tapping on the phone and had a code of
There's
some
a
sort.
tap code of some sort.
Or a giant bug.
I suppose that is possible also, yes. Either way, there was definitely a method of communication I'm not privy, a method of ensuring that the conversation was not easily listened in on, at least from the other side. Not one that I recognize, at least. And then I followed the Stanford fellow out to his car and secreted my phone device thing with the recording function on underneath the driver's seat.
Oh, you did a spy movie thing.
Yes,
Wow.
I suppose that's what it is. It seemed like a logical option. I suppose it might be tied to the sort of this whole my current morphological and sort of thinking, I guess.
All right.
So at a minimum, we should be able to track the phone, and if we get lucky, he might say something while in the car that is recorded.
Okay. All right. Well, so then what do you want your next move to be, guys?
Well, hopefully we'll be able to find out where he is, and if we can find out where if the vehicle is stopped somewhere for a lengthy period of time, maybe we could then reconnaissance that area and see if we can find out what's going on there. Maybe we'll be able to find out something more. He is our best lead at the moment, at a minimum.
Okay. One of you, who basically whichever one of you wants to do it, but only one of you can do it, can roll me a persuasion roll here with advantage.
All right. Well, my persuasion is +5. I think I have the best persuasion in the group.
I think you do. Yeah.
Mine is +5.
I have a +5 as well.
Okay.
I have one too. I should not do it.
Well, either Skitch or I could do it then.
Okay.
And or whom would you prefer? Would you like to make the roll, Skitch, or shall I?
I mean, let's do a luck flip.
Sure, that sounds good. Sure.
Why not?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Hi Gideon low tan.
Sure, go for it.
Oh shoot! Oh darn it! I didn't expect to be the one doing this. Dang it! Yeah.
Do it.
Do you want me to roll the
coin? Wait, hang
Okay,
on.
Gideon, you go.
All
Okay.
right. All right, and with
Let's
advantage.
flip a coin. Wait, I didn't know I had to provide the coin.
17.
For $1.
17 persuasion. Okay.
Slightly above average.
Michael does one of those kind of. I'm trying to describe literally the motion I'm making with my hands right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know that thing that Gendo does, where he claps the hands? Do
Ooh,
that,
the
except
Gendo
also
pose.
Oh yeah, with the
Except- except he extends the pointer fingers up a bit, so it's less sinister looking. You know.
I like the Gendo pose. I want to have an emote of the Gendo pose. I've been asking Phil for that for a while.
All right. Well, it sounds to me like what you guys have been able to find is that, especially if you're being told that he's involved in some way, and I mean, hearing it from you, I guess that he is. Even if he's not the head honcho, as it were, then I think that, yes, you're right, he's probably the best lead that we've got. All right.
He warrants further investigation.
I think that yes, I think that this is going to be important enough that we're going to want to follow up on this as much as we can. If you can make sure that you found him, I'll help you out with whatever kind of stakeout you guys are planning to do. There's got to be something that we can find out from this, and it sounds to me like if he is taking orders from someone, then it sounds like that person's very, very cautious.
Yes, I would agree with that.
Yep.
So the slip-up's not going to come from them.
I would guess
Probably
that it
gonna
seems
come from this
unlikely.
guy.
Yes.
Let me make a roll here.
Jerome's just kind of like sitting back. He's like, "Oh man, I hope we find his house, man. I want to haunt this guy. I want to make him talk." He doesn't say anything. But he's got that kind of like
He's bouncing a little bit on his talons. Yeah.
Urge to poltergeist rising.
Why did I roll for this? All right.
By the by, Nick,
Yeah.
during all of this, sort of out of habit, this is not really a more. This is sort of a Gideon definitely does, as I said, Gideon is something of a morphological being, and there, since he's in that sort of private eye sort of mode, largely, I am making an insight check during this whole conversation. By the way, with Michael, I am sort of passively sort of reading Michael, basically, it's making sure I can trust. I feel we can trust him, but like Gideon does have that little bit of private eye paranoia about him.
I do know that Jerome does trust Michael because of last time they talked.
Mhm.
Jerome literally did like kind of like give him the
stink eye.
the stink guy like, can I trust this guy? Like, can we trust this guy? And he's like, yeah, it's either.
Look, I'm just my character is just based on a character that spent the entire first season of a show pretending to be someone else. Come on, guys, you can trust me.
What? No.
Come on.
I really got to get back and finish that show at some point.
It's a great show.
Oh, it is, absolutely. The Good Place is great.
I didn't put Plato in charge. Socrates.
Okay, so
Or was it the other way around? I can never remember. Doesn't matter.
who died to put Aristotle in charge? Plato.
That's what it says.
That was it. Yes. Okay.
It's a good line.
I think my favorite line is still the most usable one is that's worse. You do realize that's worse,
That's
right?
worse. Yes.
All right.
You're basic. It's a human insult. You're devastated.
Okay, so I will tell you that as like Michael is mulling this over, he literally just to you looks like he is mulling this over.
Fair enough. I kind of
that's-
assumed, but again, it's just sort of it's something Gideon should do.
From what you know of him, it seems as if like he's at this point kind of like abandoning any sort of what's the word pretense of like, okay, I'm the reliable guy that's always in control, and he is treating this at the very least with this situation could potentially be very, very important, and I know at this point that probably it's linked to stuff that we've been dealing with for months.
Yeah.
So he's treating it seriously and treating the findings that you guys have brought him seriously, even if some of them
We have been producing results on this line of investigation. Ergo, it warrants further investigation.
It warrants follow-up at least.
Yep.
But he mulls over what you guys have been saying for a bit, and then he says, "So I think you guys know more about this guy than I do. So do you think that the Stanford guy, is the one who was supplying the drugs and everything?"
At least to the Scuttlers, I do believe so. That is my read of him. I do not have evidence. There's a difference. That is what I've inferred, I should say, I suppose.
Well, I mean, I guess what I'm saying is, from what you know about him, do you think he has the resources to do that kind of thing?
Oh,
Certainly has the money.
I will sort of nod at what Jerome says there.
Right.
He is, from what I can tell, very wealthy. Which could mean any number of things.
All right, Michael nods after a few moments, and he says, "All right, well, I think at this point, even if I didn't want someone to be going along with you as as your babysitter or whatever, that having more eyes on this, I think, would be helpful."
Oh, more observers is probably a good idea. Yes.
So I'll see who I can get in touch with about that. And Gideon, feel free to reach out to your
Yes.
coworkers, as it were, and see if any of them would like to come along.
I will definitely ask. There are a fair number of whom I think would be good at this. I'm not certain. Jay might actually be good at a stakeout. At least he'd have the patience for it, at least.
The question comes: what happens when it comes time to spring?
Yes. He might not be the best. I don't know. At any rate, yes, I will definitely talk to the other Reapers. I mean, is Giorgio here with us at the moment?
Yes, he came by, and
I figured. So yeah, I will look over at Giorgio and see what it sort of that gives a look of. Well, what do you think, Giorgio?
Yeah, there was. I will say that also, while you guys were giving your story, I think we'll roll this into the insight check that you had. Is that you did notice that Michael did just kind of occasionally like just turn to Giorgio while you were explaining stuff to him, and he basically just kind of like nodded along with what you guys were saying.
Right.
There was a very specific reason that you guys had accompaniment on what you guys were working on, and so he is just kind of providing that in his role here. There, of course, were certain details that I think you were just didn't come up because they weren't really important, that might have made you guys look a little bit bad, that he did not volunteer because, he's not going to do that on you.
Fair enough.
We chose wisely when we picked Giorgio to be one of the people to watch over us.
I mean, he's well, it's Giorgio.
Giorgio thinks over what you have asked, and he says, "I do think that Jay would probably be ideal for this kind of thing."
Yeah, I think we'll see if Jay's available. Why don't you talk to Terrace and see if Terrace has any suggestions? Terrace's judgment on this. Terrace's judgment in general is very good.
Giorgio nods and says, "I think that I think this might be something that all of us are going to need to give us some consideration."
I agree. I'm gonna talk. I'll talk to Odd. And Jai and Jay. And if you could talk to Terrace and Sawyer, maybe.
I will track them down.
Excellent. Yeah, excellent. Captain Jones probably not the best option.
Here's what I think we should be doing.
If things require direct action, he might actually be someone we might want to ask. As much as that,
We
We
pains me to
round
say.
them all up.
This is-
We round them all up, put the fear of death into him, and make him walk the plank. That'll solve his right quick.
This is where we find out
Can't
that
believe, but I agree with Davy Jones.
this is where we find out that Stanford lives on like a giant yacht somewhere, and we just need to have somebody who has a boat.
Quick, everyone take the form of orcas and steal their rudder.
We head over to the river Saskatchewan, and then we run him over.
Captain Jones.
You're going to be do some pirating? What?
Davy Jones probably thinks the orca stuff is hilarious.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, I think the orca thing is hilarious.
Oh,
It is.
it is objectively funny.
I would say that Davy Jones is the one who collected those souls. If I didn't think the shark ate them first.
All right. So yeah, all right. You guys are going to will now have a little bit of time while you're in this world, I think. And I think that this is what we'll do to kind of like close things out is just like anyone you want to go out and talk to, any plans you want to make, just like prep you want to do before you go into your stealth mode, infiltration, surveillance.
Right. So yeah, I will definitely try to get a hold of Odin and Jay.
Okay.
Jerome is definitely going to send word to Maurice and like let him know that like he might have to use some heavy haunting in the near future, and that he will use his best judgment not to exceed anything that he's not supposed to do while
Okay.
doing so.
So you just gonna want to like check in with him.
Yeah, like this is we're getting to the point where like Jerome might actually need to do something that is in his wheelhouse and may have to unleash a little bit of that power, and he does know that he is a little bit on thin ice right now, so he's just like, hey, this might start happening. I'm telling you now, and I'm being watched about it, so I just want to let you know.
He does have observers.
Got
Yeah.
it.
I want to see about like getting the ability to like manifest and change my shape the way Gideon does. Like, is that a way that way I don't have to keep the same body? It's easier on Afterlife's resources, and it makes me more flexible to do what I want to do.
Interesting. Okay.
At least that's how I'm going to sell it.
No, I get what you're putting down. Tell you what, you're in the headquarters here where you got to turn in the paperwork for this kind of stuff already.
Right.
So you know that to go about that. Actually, we'll say that. You know what? I think to make this a little bit easier on you, I'm gonna say that you bring that up while you guys are getting set to kind of disperse from Michael's office.
Mhm.
And he gives this a bit of thought, and he gives you the right forms to at least begin the process. And he says, "I can't. I'll do what I can to try and get this through. There's usually a bit of a waiting period for this kind of thing. You see, the thing
Right.
is, Dan, for a lot of people, this wouldn't really be possible. But you're a provisional reaper, so maybe we can expedite the process to grant you one of the benefits of that."
That would be great.
He gives you a little wink and a hand and goes to dig out the right form to give you. And I will say that like literally, that is something that it only just occurred to me that like, well, I mean, technically speaking,
Yeah, I wouldn't even be asking this if I wasn't already provisional reaper.
Right.
Reaper.
The disguised self spell.
Right.
Yes.
Unfortunately, that's not going to necessarily be something that's going to extend to to Reiko, and
Right.
uh, and even to Jerome.
Right.
But there are definitely some things that, Jerome, you're going to be able to do in this circumstance. When you talk to Maurice about it, he hears out what you're saying, and he says, "Well, Jerome, I've always had faith in your abilities, and I know that it's going to probably be a little bit awkward for you to going into this because I know you're not used to working with a large group of people when you do this type of thing. But I want you to know that if there is anything that I can get ready for you that would help you in this, I'll do what I can."
Dude, he just gave you free reign to go spook anyone you want.
Yeah.
That's not what I said.
That's exactly what he said. Let's go spook some people.
No. In fact, what are you doing here?
Yeah,
I'm such a good influence.
Jerome was just kind of like pulling out the book. Let's see. We're gonna do all right, usual kit. We're bringing spooky fog, levitating things, possibly destroying some furniture, but nothing too extreme. Flying books. I don't think I'm gonna need to bring out anything too much worse than that. We're not going to be, going full Beetlejuice on this guy.
Hmm.
Say that 3 times fast.
Don't.
I think we should go full Beetlejuice.
You would.
Well, once you have actually gotten to see the place where your target, as it were, is located, if you think of anything that you might need some additional help pulling off, just feel free to reach out to me. I think that this is something where we might be able to get you some approval for things that we wouldn't normally be able to. You might be able to go a little crazy. I'm not making any promises. Get permission first, please.
Sir, permission to have fun.
Now I'm just imagining going full Beetlejuice, and it's like, all right, everybody starts dancing. Stanford just at dinner just goes, Deo, what? No.
Hey-o. Stop it. Daylight come and we want to go home.
Why do I have the urge to say it's a green card thing?
Oh, that's awful.
You know what I mean? All right.
All right. So, as for Reiko,
What level is
she's going to pull Michael over.
Okay.
It's been about a week now, or something ish. Or how long is our timeline at this point?
Since when?
Since dead.
Oh, it's been longer than that.
Okay.
It's been several weeks for you at this point. I think it's probably been maybe around a month and a half, 2 months. So
That long? Doesn't feel like it's been that long.
maybe a little bit, maybe slightly less than that, but it's at least been several weeks.
All right. So, Michael, I have a question.
Yes.
So, seeing as how, all the afterlife stuff about like where folks go and etc. is predicated on their beliefs, and no one knows what to make sense of my own beliefs, has there been any real thought put towards my own destination, if I have one at all? Or am I just going to kind of be hanging around here? I'm not in a rush, mind you, but I am a little curious since I seem to be a unique case in many respects.
Well, there's a couple of factors that go into that, Reiko. One is the fact that there's still something of a mystery of how you got here to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
So that might play a factor in when and where you end up going.
Really?
Another,
How come?
a lot of people aren't able to be at rest until they resolve some business that they have left in the world of the living. That's part of why we have people like Jerome and Tananars to help them out, to
Hmm.
lay things to rest so that they can lay at rest. Beyond
Hmm.
that, there are people who spend a long time in limbo. There's That's why there are semi-permanent communities that are set up all over the place. It could just be that you'll end up just being one of those residents for a considerable time until you or whatever is going on with you internally, externally is resolved. And there's not really a standard timetable for that.
If that were to be the case, would I be able to apply for Reaper?
Well, you can apply.
Oh, come on. What's the hang up there?
It's not.
Institutional sexism in the afterlife. Jeez.
There are female reapers, I'll have you know. It's not so much that is it is well a couple of things. You see, we use the term prospective reaper for Dantalion, but the ultimate decision of who becomes a reaper and who doesn't isn't really something that I or anyone here at headquarters really decides.
Ah, it's Big D's.
He just gives you a nod.
Mm-hmm.
So
Bryson said his suit sucked.
he doesn't really wear a suit when I'm around him, but okay. Uh, I don't think that he takes those kinds of things personally, typically. Uh, and I'll at least say this: if you express interest in having that kind of position, I don't think it'll hurt your chances.
How? How exactly do I initiate correspondence? Seems a little elusive to me.
You'll get used to that.
You're not answering my question.
I. All right. So you've had a conversation with death, capital D death, right?
Yeah.
Okay. How did that go?
I didn't really know what was going on at first and thought it was some
Mhm.
kind of weirdo, and I didn't really figure it out until afterwards.
Okay.
Uh, Showed up to me in a suit that I said was kind of cheap, not the greatest appearance. I don't actually remember how the rest went. Like,
All
that's
right.
me out of character, not remembering
Okay.
how that all went.
He did. I think the big point of the conversation was beyond what comments you had
It
to
kind of felt like
offer.
an introduction, I think. It's like, I'm your death.
It
or something like that.
was, and the question that was asked of you was, "Where do you go when you die?" And it was asked in a very clearly, deliberately nebulous manner.
Okay. And I think Reiko threw out an answer at the time, but that was,
Mhm.
you know, not really the answer that was being looked into. Okay. So Reiko will relate, you know, it's like, okay, it basically seemed like an introduction because I didn't know what was going on. And he posed something of a philosophical question to the tune of where does one go when they die, which is a very curious thing to ask someone who's already been in limbo and has, you know, some concept of what's going on. Not a full concept, but some.
Okay.
So I don't know. Maybe that was something of a litmus test.
Hmm. Okay. I'm rolling insight for him. He rolled pretty well. Well, Reiko, when I told you earlier about how there are a lot of different factors that can determine where you end up in the afterlife and when, uh, that could be one of them, potentially. Might be you coming to have a particular answer for that, or maybe even be able to look at the question in a different way.
Hmm. So,
I
like, where do
Go ahead.
people go when they die? Away from the stress of taxes?
Oh, I'm glad we don't have those here. Um,
You know, two things certain.
that's what they say.
So that means there's only death in the afterlife.
All right, you can give me an insight check here.
Okay. Passive
Oh.
15.
All right, so you look at Michael, and he's kind of doing that thing where he kind of like is like, you know, like kind of licking his bottom lip a bit while kind of thinking of how to put something. And you know
Ooh,
for a
you're
fact,
choosing your words.
that this, from looking at it, that this is a conversation that he's had to actually have a lot in the past. But
Mm-hmm.
it's one of those kinds of things, and it kind of like clicks together when he gives you this answer. Uh, the thing about this, Reiko, is that ultimately you're the only person who can answer this quandary. Obviously, we have an organization here, part of the responsibility of which is to help you to answer that kind of question. I can't make promises about when we can help you to get to that answer. But if you think it will help you wind up where you want to go, figure out a relationship with death that could potentially help you to
Ooh, triple
become
emphasis. Spooky.
a reaper or something else. I'm not making promises because I can't keep that. It's not up to me.
Yeah, I got it. Don't shoot the messenger.
We can help you to do that,
Hmm.
but we can only help you to do that.
Well, I can
Some,
say one thing.
hmm?
Uh, I don't think beyond Limbo I really have any place to go.
Why is that?
Well, I think there's some kind of an interconnectivity, as I've said before, that has not really been understood. So unless I go to find it and, you know, become the new ruler of it or whatever, I think my place is here. Because what all I always wanted to do was to understand death in its totality, which, folks over here, they know plenty more about it than folks over there, but it seems like no one really fully understands it except perhaps Big D themselves. And if, you know, like say someone's trying to fundamentally change a law of the universe or whatever, then that wouldn't really hold either. So, kind of stands to reason to me to have someone who, I don't know, be a lore master.
Hmm, that's a very interesting answer. Hmm. Um, Actually, give me another insight check.
Ooh, there we are.
It's a nice-
18.
that's a nice one.
18, nice.
You are able to kind of tell, looking at Michael's expression as he listens to you, that as you kind of go along, you sort of feel like he at least is agreeing with a lot of what you are saying. And as a person who, has a lot of knowledge in like helping people in the world and stuff, he seems to think that you have basically gotten very close to the answer. In as far as there can be one.
Right.
And thinking about that, actually, I'm going to roll one more time here. Nope, he doesn't get it. So, I'll actually give you that. Because of that, he kind of ponders over this, and you get the impression that he's not exactly sure why the question was asked of you, if you already have this solid idea of it.
Well, I can only guess as to the motives. Could be just to put the thought in the head, give it something to think about. Perhaps even from the lateral manner of why is the question being asked rather than the significance of the question itself. Big D seems to be on the out of character word. Hang on. On the subtext kind of exposition. Got to figure it out a little bit. Doesn't just come out and say anything.
I suppose. All right. Well, what I said does still apply. If you need any help figuring out this sort of thing, or just need someone to kind of be a soundboard for this sort of thing, the office is literally 24/7.
Wouldn't it be scary if it was 25?
I mean, technically speaking, time has very little meaning over here.
It's like
Yeah, but it
we
would be scary, at least in concept. At least for the more modern folks. Maybe not the
mean, we
older
could-
ones.
We could put
I
up
was-
novelty clocks, I guess.
I was gonna say like the fact that they're operating on Gregorian calendars, ooh.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's yeah.
7 days a week. Well, what about if it's 7 days a week? How can you work out 4 days a week without getting burnt out? I'm not going to reference the
Stop. No, not that video. No.
I mean, I'm just one of the things that didn't come up about that troll I played in the One Heroes game was that I didn't actually know how old he was because I never kept track of when they switched from the old Norse calendar to the Gregorian calendar.
I remember that.
I was like, I don't
remember
know,
that.
about this old. That's funny.
All right. Fernea, if you're okay with that, I don't really have much more I think I can say in this conversation personally.
No, it's all good. I figure the subject of Reiko needed to be just kind of brought up because it hasn't been brought up in a while. So
I understand that. Yeah. Okay.
basically, like in summary, I think the fact that Big D did give like a message at all to Reiko was kind of indicative of things in and of itself. Or at least that's the tell I'm getting. Doesn't seem to happen a whole lot.
Okay.
In her downtime, that being said, she's going to go recharge the spiritual battery and go hang around with the fashionistas. And pet her cat.
Yeah, cat.
It's important to do these things.
Mm.
All right. So you're doing that. Dantalion, you go through the process of getting it set up. Give me a persuasion roll with advantage, because you're essentially being given a help action from Michael here. This is to kind of navigate bureaucracy. 15.
15's not bad.
So you turn in your paperwork and stuff, and as far as you can tell, it is proceeding through the system. And given your general experience with this sort of thing, it looks like it's going to be one of those things that might actually get done, as opposed to, like, it just winds up in somebody's inbox and then buried under a bunch more paperwork.
Right.
Hooray!
Yay!
Yeah, you went.
Yeah, I figure mechanically the way this works is I'll just add the disguise self spell to my bag of tricks.
Jerome, you have that conversation with Maurice. Okay, so I have a note that I kind of want to end things on, I think, for this session.
Sure.
Is there anything else anyone wants to do beyond that?
I mean, at some point, I should have the conversation. We should do the conversation with Jay, but but we could do that next session. Actually, honestly,
That is actually going to be the note that I kind of want to end things on.
okay. Fair enough.
All right. Okay, in that case, so Gideon, you go and see some of your Reaper buddies.
Yes.
Giorgio agrees to go off and talk to Therese and to
Sawyer, I think.
Sawyer.
Yeah.
And you set up a quick impromptu meeting with Jay and with Old.
Yep.
You arrive there. Jay arrives at exactly the time
Yes.
that you agreed to do so.
Yes. I am not surprised.
He greets you with a tip of his hat. And Ode kind of comes hurrying in a little bit after that, having rushed over from doing some other business, which was, in fact, the thing that was keeping him from being able to accompany you guys.
Right. That's fine.
To the auction to begin with.
Greetings.
Gideon, how did it go?
We gathered quite a bit of information. And Jai, I want to loop you in on this because I think this is pertinent to all of the Reapers. And I might need both of your help. So I fill them in. I fill Old on what he missed, and but give sort of running sort of what's been going on to Jay also. And get to the point basically. It's like, and so after the conversation I had with Death over the chessboard, which was fascinating, he left me a puzzle, which I both love and hate that he does that sort of thing with me, but but at any rate, we were given the tip that one of the people we had sort of looked into a little bit was probably our next best lead, which is a gentleman by the name of Sawyer. Sorry, not Sawyer. Stanford.
Right.
My brain just flipped names there. And we had a lead way too... I sort of filled him on what we did with the thing. And I now have access... and sort of let him know I basically filled them in everything we picked up on at the auction, and then I sort of let them know what I've done. It's like with the phone thing, and once we have a location, we're going to stake out the location and see if we can figure out what is going on. And we need as many eyes and eyes, ears, and just perception as possible, and people who are good at watching and keeping track of information that they pick up and the like. And I figure that both of you would be good at that, and B, As I said, I think this is something that's going to be very, very important for all of us as Reapers.
What you say is true, and this is Jay speaking, then yes, I agree. This could disrupt the order of things.
Indeed.
There are things that are very suspicious about this.
I would
But
agree.
as long as we remain dedicated, then things will go as they always do. And he kind of produces a sort of scroll and starts consulting it. He says, I will assist you in what times that I am available. I cannot promise that I can be there on a continuous basis, which is unfortunate. This kind of thing is the type of activity that I exist for. Were it up to me, I think that this is how all of my jobs would go. It reminds me of that one general. Staked out his house for weeks. Sorry, I was being nostalgic.
That is quite all right, Jay. And I appreciate the whatever time you were able to dedicate to this.
Ode kind of rubs the back of his head, and he says, "This is going to be a bit strange, though, to be simply spying on the living instead of preparing for the end of their life."
Yes, it is something I've been getting used to, weirdly. My role is somewhat different than it used to be, unsurprisingly. And it still perplexes me from time to time. But yes, it is an oddness to be it is something of an oddness to be certain.
Ode looks at you after kind of considering things for a minute. He looks at you through his mask, and he says, "So you overheard, or rather, did not overhear, the person that this Stanford was speaking to."
Yes, it was some sort of a clicking noise from what I was able to determine. I will do my best to replicate it, but I'm certain I can't do a particularly good job.
If the Stanford is acting under instructions at this point,
That was how it seemed to me, but I suppose it is theoretically possible he was putting on an act, but then for whom?
okay. Jay kind of tilts his head and says, "If this person were putting on an act, it would actually make sense. They seem to have some knowledge, direct or indirect, of our existence.
Yes.
So if he suspected that there was something that he could not see that could be listening in on him, it is possible that he did try to deceive you."
Yeah. Possible. I suppose. As I said, it is possible.
And ultimately irrelevant.
That I would also agree with.
All deceptions against us are ultimately pointless.
In the extreme long term, you are correct.
Yes. In the end, all things will end the way that they always do. It is simply a matter of how much damage this person can cause in the meantime.
And I would ideally like to avoid as much of that as possible.
Is it possible that your poltergeist friend could frighten this man to death?
Possible, yes. I mean, technically speaking, I suppose I could just end him myself as well. But that is not what is supposed to be done.
Yes.
We do have rules we have to follow.
We will have to wait until he appears on a ledger. You are correct.
Exactly.
I have one other recommendation to make.
Yes.
Actually, as I was saying before, I feel that this type of business would benefit from having someone who can be present for the long term.
Mm-hmm.
As it so happens, I know of someone outside of our typical group who indicated recently that they might be available for such a thing.
Oh, really? I am, as the humans like to say, all ears.
What a strange expression.
I would agree, yes.
Oh, it kind of just sighs. I can arrange a meeting between the two of you very shortly. Her name is Surugi.
I'm intrigued and grateful for opportunities for more assistance.
I will warn you, she can be intense.
That is an interesting warning coming from you, Jay.
Yes, it is.
I will simply nod.
Probably a good thing Reiko's not here.
And I think that's where we'll end it.
Okay,
today.
great.
All right.
Awesome. All right, well, that will be that for this episode then.
Yes, thank you all for joining us, for your listening pleasure and our not listening pleasure, for our speaking pleasure, I
Our
guess.
performative pleasure.
Performative, that sounds dirty.
Actually-
Okay, so
Yeah. I said that and didn't think about it.
Anywho, that will do it for this episode.
I didn't realize until I started to say it. I was like, wait a minute.
I can see this thing. I'm like, wait, and then you said, like, oh no.
Anywho, thank you all for listening. We'll be back in the near future, hopefully. Hopefully less time between episodes.
I hope so, yes.
And we'll see you when we see you. Until then, be happy, be safe, keep on the game, everybody. We'll see you later. Bye-bye!
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.